Stupid rules.
Stupid, stupid, stupid rules. We had a disqualification last week, Kodiak Kup 9, following the ASJJF rules, Asian Sports Jiu-Jitsu Federation rules. They try to follow the IBJJF, but they're outdated. IBJJF has moved on. The rules have become more reasonable, and ASJJF is lagging behind, and we have a good example of this.
So what rule are we talking about?
We're talking about a rule where if you're in a straight ankle lock, you can move your hips to the outside, but not to the inside. Why?
Huh?
Huh?
What does that mean?
I can rotate away from the non-attacking leg. I can go ahead and belly down and attack that ankle. But the moment I rotate towards the non-attacking leg, I get disqualified. That's a disqualification. Yes, I know there's no reap here, but when I'm rotating toward the non-attacking leg, it's considered unnecessary or dangerous stress on the outside of the knee.
This was in the finals match of the brown belt division. The brown belt division. This man, he did this to me, okay? So I'm playing my opponent. He had me in a great butterfly ashi position. He had a great shotgun grip, and this leg was over the top, and my ankle was about to break. Nice leg combo. Back on top. The rule says from here you can go backwards, which makes it stronger. You can go to the outside, which makes it stronger, but you cannot go to the inside, which, as you can see, he tapped the other two directions, and this one is less strong.
Yeah, it is less strong, but still tap worthy. Supposedly super dangerous, but not really.
What are we, white belts?
Yeah, the rule doesn't really make sense. It was an IBJJF rule before, as you said. IBJJF has moved on from it. They've decided that this is no longer a reasonable rule. It doesn't really protect anybody.
It doesn't protect anybody.
ASJJF is the Asian Sports Jiu-Jitsu Federation. It's kind of a new, somewhat new federation that's popped up in Asia, and it's taken over most IBJJF competitions. It's becoming like the reigning champion of regulation in Asia, which is fine, but their rule set doesn't completely make sense in certain ways. Yes, in this in particular.
In this example.
In this example.
Yeah. It's so silly to the point that when the ref stopped our match, Palo! We all looked at each other. Me, my opponent, and the ref looked at each other for a big moment, wondering what happened.
Yeah.
I actually thought that he stopped the match to save my ankle because it was about to break. It was.
So that
the guy had me.
So it would have been like a reasonable stoppage.
I mean, in a brown belt division, can you be like, oh, that's too tight, stop it?
You should. In a brown belt division, you should let it
break, right? It's on me.
Yeah.
I'm an adult.
Yeah.
I didn't sign a paper in this one, but you know, we could say I signed a paper saying that's okay. But it was a kids match as well, or a kids tournament as well. In a kids match, if your arm is straight, okay, we stop it, protect the person. Yeah. I thought he saw my ankle bending a little too much. I'm sure it looked disgusting.
Yeah.
It was about to break. And so I thought he stopped it for that. And we all looked at each other and he goes, oh no, he turned the wrong way. And everybody, oh, why? Who are you helping?
Did you find any rationale on this rule? Is the idea that this is going to protect the ankle? No, nothing.
Nope. I put this to the Instagram. My Instagram is full of 10th Planet high-level guys, all the top coaches in Thailand and Korea, and some Japanese fellows chimed in. Not a single person was like, oh, actually, there's a good reason.
Because of this.
It's because of this. It's because if you, not a single person. Everybody's like, why? What's the rule? Huh? What?
Yeah,
huh?
I didn't know the rule. If you had reaped the knee,
So this is butterfly ashi. Reap would have been if he comes all the way out
Yes.
and bends the knee this way.
Yeah.
Which I also kind of think is an outdated rule, but I can accept it. I can accept that we're not allowed to reap in certain competitions, but that was not the issue in this one. He is here where reaping is impossible.
Yeah.
What would reaping be? I guess it's kind of a reap, kind of similar.
Oh,
maybe that's what they're kind of getting at.
Maybe that's what it is.
They're kind of, it's hinting at a reap, but not in a dangerous way, right?
No, it's not a full reap, but yeah, I guess the idea could be that it is kind of, it's turning the knee in.
But what are we, children?
I personally think the whole reaping thing is, I think it's fine. Past maybe a 3-stripe white belt, I think that you should be reaping a little, at least getting exposed to reaping in practice. Maybe not rolling with reaps, but there should be drilling that involves reaps, I think, fairly early. I feel kind of disserviced by not really getting into heel hooks until I was pretty much a purple belt. I think I missed out on a lot, and I think it kind of put me behind the ball. Behind the ball is the bad one, right? Yes.
Yeah.
You have a 100% chance of getting injured. You're gonna get injured no matter what. I had quite a few injuries. I had rib injuries. I had neck injuries, all the way coming up. You know, we're attacking the neck, we're bending the neck. And the idea that just the lower part of your body, like everything below your knees is super tender and you shouldn't touch it. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I think we should be learning these things definitely very early.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable, like teaching lower belts these positions, but also banning them in competition. I think banning reaping and heel hooks for white belt and blue belt, very reasonable. But purple belt, brown belt, come on.
I think we should.
Black belt, come
I
on.
think we should be heel hooking as purple belts.
Yeah.
I think now IBJJF now allows black belts to heel hook.
Black belts can heel hook. And so people who have come up through every belt of where they can't even practice these positions, they're so, oh my God, so never touch them, so don't even look at them, so don't even think about them. And then they have to go into competition with someone who's been doing them 5 years. That's a huge disservice to everybody.
Yeah.
You have to know when to tap. That's the most important thing.
Some of these rules don't.
They don't help anybody.
Me and Marshall have a little disagreement on the reaping. Marshall believes we should protect people by not reaping too early. I think it's. I would put reaping as a little bit better than just heel hooking. I think reaping is something that once you learn the feeling and how to go with it, it's a little bit easier to roll with than a heel hook.
So in my class, I think reaping's okay, but here's my concern, right? So if Tarek reaps my right leg, so I've just seen this before. Lower belts especially, who really want to win, their leg is at a weird angle, and they'll keep powering in this way, right? So me, naturally, I'm already turning, right? Because I understand my knee turns, I turn. But some people don't know this. They don't know their own body. So they will continue going this way. This feels very weird on my knee. And if he continues reaping, as if this is like a struggle, see, I naturally am turning away, which is the correct position, right? That's actually the escape, and that relieves pressure. But some people don't know their own body, and so they can easily
just fight against it.
Yeah. And so that's my concern. I think that's reasonable, especially in competition where people are so gung-ho, so have to win.
Competition is
so much adrenaline, they can't feel their own pressure. So practice it. I think it's okay to protect lower belts from themselves.
I agree with not reaping in white belt competition because it's just there's a lot of there's just too much adrenaline going on.
And I'm okay with no reaping in the gi. I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I like having no gi.
Yeah, none of these things that I'm talking about apply to the gi. I'm also fine with no heel hooking in the gi.
Yeah.
I think the gi
heel hooking in the gi would be crazy.
I think the gi just has so much friction that it's really hard to slide out of things. Whereas in no gi, with leg locks, you're literally most of the time. My whole leg lock escape is put my foot on the ass and kick out and slide my knee out, which depends on my clothing being slippery or my sweaty legs being slippery and just being able to pull out of those positions. So
yeah, shout out coconut oil helping me get in the leg locks.
moisturize your body,
Shout out
boys.
lotion. So that's our point. This one leg lock rule is silly, especially for upper belts. The other ones, you know, I think there's some work to be done, but I don't think it should be a free-for-all for lower belts. What do you guys think? Leg locks, do you guys practice them in your gym?
Any other rules that you think need to go?
Any other rules you think need to go?
I just think the knee reaping thing, the whole like once the foot crosses the hip in competition. I've seen it so many times, the DQ, and it's it's kind of like, all right, nobody was in real danger, but it's kind of a technicality. I don't like it. I don't like the knee.
It encourages some soccer style flopping. Guys go and they win. Yay!
I don't like the knee reaping rule. move correctly with the knee reap. Do squats. Get strong. Don't fight against the reap.
And if you're in Taiwan, you want to know how to escape a reap, how to work a reap, hire Tarek. He's a good coach. He knows all these things. He's available.
And reaping is such a great way that leads to like the ham sandwich too. So like,
yeah, show us.
I'm in this reaping position here. Marshall starts to pull out of the reap, and boom, now I'm in a ham sandwich. I can go straight to this calf slicer here.
See, this guy, he says he's not 10th planet, but he has 10th planet indoctrination. He doesn't even know.
It's been a couple of years now.
I've been massaging subconscious. All submissions legal.
Yes, yeah. Legalize.
Practice everything, and they
legalize.
become less scary.
Legalize all of it.
Legalize leg locks. Hashtag
if
legalize leg locks.
Yeah, if wrist locks are legal, everything else.
I wonder if they are.
Everything else should be legal.
ASJJF
Wrist locks, I believe, kids can do wrist locks. I believe wrist locks, once you're an adult, you could wrist lock.
Really?
Yeah. Unless they've changed. I know IBJJF always had it at starting from white belt. I don't know if they changed it to blue belt, but I believe that for adults, wrist locks are legal. So
ironically, I'm more scared of wrist lock.
kids cannot do wrist locks. Kids cannot do guillotines.
Wonder why.
Protect the kids.
Sure. Yeah. Protect kids. Don't reap children. Hashtag don't reap children.
Reap all the men. All right.